Greetings, everyone. This is Brandon with Fanboys Forever, and we are celebrating a very special anniversary. The oft-forgotten 2007 animated film TMNT turns 15 today. I want to set the stage just a little bit. At this point in my life, I was in my second phase of Turtle Mania after my childhood. Back around my junior year of high school, I'd picked up a bargain bin copy of the first live-action movie on DVD, and at that point, I probably hadn't seen it in 5 years. Looking back as an adult, that doesn't seem like very long, but when you're a teenager, 5 years is like a lifetime. So I sat down and watched this film that I'd loved as a kid, and I just had this newfound appreciation for it. It just seemed so much more impactful. Of course, I was seeing it, in digital and widescreen for the first time, but it just washed me with Ninja Turtles nostalgia. I just went crazy for the brand again at that point. So I got all my action figures out of storage, I dusted off my NES so I could play the arcade game, and more importantly, that spurred me on to go back and read all those original Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles comic books, which, even though I was an avid comic book reader, I had just always kind of glossed over. I knew they existed, but I'd never taken the time to go back and read them, and that was really a mistake because I got to see just how different they were from the '87 cartoon and how they'd been the major inspiration for that first live-action movie. So I was watching the movie probably twice a week at least. I was eating pizza non-stop. I was devouring the 4Kids animated series of the time and reading as many comic books as I could get my hands on, going to comic book shops, looking for them, ordering them off of eBay, which was a relatively new thing for me at the time. And Jared and I were having all these conversations. We would talk about the Turtles for hours, just, the meaning of the brand for us, how it made us feel, how it brought us back to that real, perfect childhood feeling. I guess at this age we were really feeling true nostalgia for the first time in our lives, and it was a great feeling. We were so ingrained in Ninja Turtles at the time, we even attempted, in vain, to make our own stop-motion animated short film that was inspired by the early comic books and the Palladium Books role-playing game. But of course that never happened, despite a lot of work that we put into it early on. So to say that I was Turtles obsessed from 2004 to 2009 would be a crass understatement. Finally, in March of 2007, after what seemed like years of anticipation, TMNT, a brand new computer-animated feature film, was released. Now, this was an original story, not directly adapted from any one comic book or animated series. It was a loose follow-up, set vaguely in the continuity of the original live-action film trilogy. It takes place some years after the Ninja Turtles have disbanded as a crime-fighting team. They've all taken separate paths, with Leonardo and Raphael continuing to do good in their own ways, Donatello and Michelangelo working day jobs, April O'Neil and Casey Jones in a happy relationship, and Splinter enjoying his soap operas. The team's forced back together, back into action to fight a series of otherworldly monsters brought into this plane of existence by a wealthy industrialist attempting to bring his ancient allies back to life. All the while, they're dealing with the remnants of the Foot Clan, led by the Shredder's daughter, Karai. Jared and I saw this movie together on opening night at our old standby theater, the Regency Cinema 8 in London, Kentucky. On a funny side note, the Regency only has one nice stadium screen. It opened in 2005 for the midnight release of Revenge of the Sith. I know, I was there myself. So since then, it's always been a gamble. Would your movie be in the nice stadium, or would you be slumming it 90s style in one of the outdated screens? Well, they pushed TMNT into one of the old screens so that Wild Hogs could have the premium spot. Side note, I saw Wild Hogs about a year later, and it's actually not that bad. It didn't matter to us, though. We were too excited to care, and our excitement paid off. I absolutely loved it. It's all I talked about for the rest of the night. I took my whole family back to see it the next day, and then I saw it 3 more times. Actually, at that time, that was the most I had ever seen a movie in the theater. It was a fantastic take on the material, I thought. It treated the characters with dignity and perfectly blended the tone of the animated series and the comic book. It was a little frightening, it was very funny, action-packed, and surprisingly emotional. It had absolutely fantastic performances from a star-studded cast, including Patrick Stewart, Mako, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Chris Evans. As far as I was concerned, the Turtles were back, big time. Except not really. For whatever reason, the movie just didn't click with everyone. It was a reasonable success. It opened at number 1, turned a small profit, and it sold a lot of toys, but it just lacked staying power. It seemed to be out of theaters just as soon as it arrived, and was largely forgotten by that summer in a wave of massive blockbusters. We will get to some of those later in the year. Call it a case of bad timing, I suppose, sandwiched in between two more successful iterations of the brand. I also remember distinctly trying to urge older fans to go see it, people that I knew who had been Turtles fans back in the 80s and 90s, but most of them just couldn't get over the fact that it was animated. Why couldn't they just bring the suits back again? I remember hearing more than once. The planned sequel never materialized, due in part to the continued struggles of the studio, Imagi Animation, who would go on to make two more animated feature films based on Astro Boy and Highlander before finally closing. But the movie designs would go on to have one more turn in the spotlight in the 2009 Smash Bros. Clone Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up, as well as a photo cameo in the 25th anniversary telefilm Turtles Forever. Of course, computer animated Turtles would go on to have much greater success in the 2012 Nickelodeon animated series. We're not likely to see this version of the Turtles again in the future, either in fiction or on toy shelves. In fact, Playmates Toys has indicated that the tools for the TMNT toy line are either lost or destroyed, making reissues virtually impossible. But hey, even if it didn't win over the masses, even if it didn't break box office records or kickstart a franchise, for us old die-hard fans, it was something truly special. I'll never forget the joy I felt sitting in that movie theater in March of 2007, seeing my old friends back on the big screen after all those years. Folks, thank you all so much for watching today. If you would be so kind, please like, subscribe, or share us out. All of those things help us get our content out to as many people as possible. So until next time, this has been Brandon. Fanboy out.